And there was a turntable and probably 5,000 records, and always people over.
Ever wonder how some of the most annoying, arrogant, impossible people in music become legends anyway? The stories get messier the more you dig, but nobody forgets the drama. Who actually tops the list of rock's biggest all-holes? And why does it always seem to help their careers? Let's rip the lid off and see what makes these maniacs so unforgettable. Number 10, Liam Gallagher.
The curler's in, and I was like, I had to leg it out, dived over the next door guy, got the hairdresser.
How far can ego take a frontman before everything blows up? Liam Gallagher shows up, opens his mouth, and instantly takes over the room. The guy calls Oasis the best band on the planet, says they're bigger than the Beatles, and acts like nobody can touch him. Fans see the drama everywhere. Back in 1996, Oasis hit peak fame. 2 albums at #1, sold-out arenas, everyone wants a ticket. Then Liam bails on the US tour. He'd rather go house hunting than sing for American fans. The band flies across the world, and he doesn't even show. Promoters scramble, fans get refunds, headlines ask what's wrong with this guy. But it gets crazier. MTV Unplugged in London, huge deal, millions watching. Liam claims his throat hurts, skips the stage, and instead sits in the balcony, beer in hand, heckling his own brother from the crowd. Imagine paying big money to see your hero, and he's just sitting there mocking the band instead of singing. That's Liam. Every week brings a new story. He punches journalists, storms out of interviews, even tells paparazzi, "My needs come before anybody else's." By the late 90s, British newspapers counted over 20 public outbursts or brawls linked to Liam. Even his brother calls him a professional wind-up merchant. But the madness works. Oasis sells more than 70 million albums. Fans show up for the music, but also to watch the chaos. Even the haters can't look away. The Gallagher brothers turn every argument into a headline. It's rock and roll as a reality show, and Liam makes sure nobody ever forgets his name. But as wild as he is, the next spot goes to a guy who melts down so badly on stage. One heckle ruins the night for everyone. Ready for a songwriter who throws out his own fans? Number 9, Ryan Adams.
And then have it be what it is. But when I originally was trying to do this idea, I would hear...
How many artists lose their cool over one song request? Ryan Adams does exactly that right in front of a packed house. He's always had a reputation for mood swings, but one night in Nashville, 2002, it turned ugly. A fan yells, "Play Summer of '69," meant as a joke, a nod to Bryan Adams. Ryan freezes, stares him down, then refuses to play another note. The crowd goes silent, security kicks the fan out, and the night ends in chaos. Adams never apologizes. That meltdown gets written up everywhere, and fans debate it for years. But the drama doesn't stop at concerts. For years, Ryan Adams has been called one of the best songwriters of his generation. 3 albums in a single year, constant tours, Grammy nominations. But he's known backstage for being high-strung, confrontational, impossible to work with. Former bandmates say he'll turn a rehearsal into a screaming match over a missed note. A Rolling Stone writer called him a walking argument, but with a guitar. Some managers quit after a month. Others stick around for the stories. 2019 brings a whole new mess. 7 women, including musician Phoebe Bridgers and Adams' ex-wife Mandy Moore, come forward with stories of emotional abuse, controlling behavior, and in some cases, disturbing texts. The New York Times runs a front-page expose with years of receipts. Ryan tries to apologize online, but the backlash is instant. His label shelves 3 albums. Radio stops playing his music. He's dropped from festival lineups. Adams releases a redemption album later, claiming sobriety and change, but the damage is done. The industry gives him a wide berth. Even now, his concerts rarely sell out, and fans never know what version of Ryan they'll get. A charming storyteller, or the guy who'll walk off stage if someone says the wrong thing. Some artists lose their temper with fans. Others aim their words at everyone in the business. The next story is about someone who can turn a red carpet into a battleground, live, in front of the world's cameras. Number 8, Lily Allen.
No, there is a shout. It's quite a funny group of people, because when I first moved in, Mark Ronson was on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And then...
One artist can start an argument in any room. That's Lily Allen. She walks into an award show and you already know someone's getting called out. Her career launched in 2006 with Smile and LDN, but just as quickly as her music climbs the charts, she's trading insults with everyone in the business. There's no pretending with Lily. In 2008, while co-hosting the GQ Men of the Year Awards, she got hammered on stage and went after Elton John, right in front of the cameras. Elton fires back, "I could snort you under the table." The clip goes viral. Then, just months later, Lily trashes Amy Winehouse and Kylie Minogue in interviews. Nobody is safe, not even family. She famously calls out her dad, actor Keith Allen, for being a mess in front of the tabloids. Feuds become her signature. She writes songs about ex-boyfriends, taunts Bob Geldof for being a sanctimonious prat, and tells journalists she's the most honest pop star in the world. The British press eat it up. Allen's Twitter feed in the late 2000s is a battleground. She picks fights with other artists, fans, journalists, even strangers. Behind the chaos, Lily Allen keeps delivering chart toppers. She sells over 5 million albums, wins Brit Awards, and headlines Glastonbury. Her 2014 comeback, Sheezus, mocks her critics and the music industry itself. She says, "I'm just speaking my mind." Some people love honesty. Others call her impossible to work with. It's never boring. No matter what, Lily finds a way to grab the headlines. But there's one artist who doesn't just argue with words. He sells his own band's brand in ways nobody else even dreams of. Want to know who turned merchandise into a $1 million circus? Number 7, Gene Simmons.
That ever happened to me was coming to America. I mean that honestly.
One guy will slap his face on anything for a buck. That's Gene Simmons. Since the 1970s, Kiss has made as much news for business as for music. Gene's always in front, bragging about the empire he built. Albums, comic books, action figures, Kiss condoms, Kiss coffins. The guy once joked you could buy a piece of his own crap for the right price. He's blunt, even cocky, about the hustle. In 2001, Simmons said, "If you're in a band and not thinking about making money, you're an idiot." Ace Frehley, Kiss's own guitarist, calls Gene a straight talker. But fans and even his own bandmates know there's a darker side. Simmons lectures other musicians for using backing tracks, then gets caught doing the same with Kiss at a Vegas residency. That's classic Gene. Set the rules, then break them. Money and ego rule his world. By 2022, Kiss-branded merchandise alone earns more than $500 million. The band's farewell tours stretch for years because Gene says goodbye only when the cash runs out. Simmons brags about sleeping with thousands of women, then sues anyone who calls him out for being offensive. He's banned from Fox News for life after inappropriate comments in their office. Gene loves being the villain. In interviews, he laughs about making enemies, saying, "If you don't like me, go buy someone else's record." But fans line up anyway. They want the music, the attitude, the fire-breathing circus. Nobody else turns a rock show into a full-blown brand like this guy. But sometimes outrageous business doesn't compare to personal feuds and family fights. The next story belongs to someone who turns every argument into a public war, dragging bandmates, lawyers, and fans straight into the fire, especially after tragedy strikes. Number 6, Courtney Love.
More fit to date publicly than myself, which, by the way, they're completely right.
Here's a fact. Courtney Love's name stirs up drama every single time. From the minute Hole hits MTV in the 90s, she's surrounded by fights, feuds, lawsuits, and public meltdowns. After Kurt Cobain's death in 1994, things got even messier. Suddenly, she's not just a star, she's the center of a rock soap opera. Courtney battles everyone. Nirvana's surviving members argue with her for years over royalties and song rights. She drags Dave Grohl into court more than once, accuses him of stealing money, and hurls insults in interviews. In 2011, at a festival in Brazil, a fan held up a photo of Kurt Cobain. Courtney snaps. She screams on stage, storms off, and says, "You're taking food from my kid's mouth." All of it goes viral. Even the Foo Fighters become targets for her rants. It's not just legal trouble and public fights. Love gets banned from the 2005 UK Glastonbury Festival after threatening to strip naked on stage. She tells Rolling Stone, "I thrive on chaos," and she lives it. Court dates, rehab, wild Twitter wars, more rehab, more fights. In 2008, the press caught her trashing Amy Winehouse, Elton John, and Madonna, all in the same month. Still, there's no denying the impact. Hole's Live Through This sells over 2 million copies. Courtney wins an MTV award, acts in The People vs. Larry Flynt, and lands a Golden Globe nomination. Fans stay loyal, even if every year brings a new headline. "She's always unpredictable," a former manager says, "and you never know what's coming next." But rock isn't just about public breakdowns and lawsuits. Sometimes it's the quiet bitterness, grudges that go back decades, snubs that block reunions, and a reputation that even loyal fans can't explain. Want to know who makes enemies just by showing up to the studio? Number 5. Morrissey.
Because of you, really.
Because of me?
Yes, because of you, your reputation, your name.
Some musicians burn bridges. Morrissey blows them up and then writes a song about it. The guy has a talent for making enemies everywhere he goes. In the 1980s, the Smiths ruled the British indie charts. But ask anyone who worked with Morrissey, he's as moody in person as he sounds on those records. The Smiths broke up in 1987. The world begs for a reunion, but Morrissey won't talk to guitarist Johnny Marr. Millions of dollars are offered, but Morrissey always refuses. Johnny says, "I'd rather eat my own hand than work with him again." Fans keep hoping, but the bad blood never goes away. Morrissey's mouth is legendary. He trashes everyone. Record labels, the Queen, other bands, even his own audience. In 2009, he walked off stage in Liverpool because someone threw a drink at him. In 2018, he called out The Simpsons for hatred and complete ignorance after a parody episode. Morrissey's never sorry. He doubles down every time. He even compares eating meat to horrific crimes and tells journalists, "The world would be a better place if everyone thought like me." By the 2010s, it's almost a joke. Artists say they avoid him at festivals. Former bandmates roll their eyes in interviews. But Morrissey doesn't care. He says, "I am England's most misunderstood man." The Smiths' records keep selling. People still show up to see what he'll say next. However, there's another kind of legend in rock. A guitar hero who treats fans and bandmates like they're always one wrong move away from disaster. Who spits at the crowd, refuses to encores, and makes everyone in the room nervous. Let's find out just how bad a band leader can really get. Number 4, Ritchie Blackmore.
As they say, an alpha guy, so was I. He wanted to control, I wanted to control, so we butted heads because of that.
The real number here is how many times Ritchie Blackmore leaves a stage in the middle of a show. This guy can shred, but he can also turn a packed arena into a war zone. Deep Purple's 1972 Made in Japan album goes platinum, but backstage, Ritchie is always one step away from flipping out. He's known for feuds that drag on for decades. In the 70s and 80s, he fired and rehired bandmates like It's a Sport. Ronnie James Dio claims Ritchie once spat at fans for booing. There's the story of him walking off stage at the California Jam in 1974, smashing his guitar, then lighting an amp on fire. Live on national TV. Deep Purple's drummer Ian Pace says, "If Ritchie's in a bad mood, you're all in trouble." The whole band learns to keep their heads down. Promoters dread working with him. At the 2017 Stone Free Festival in London, Ritchie's band Rainbow reportedly refused to share the main stage with Blue Oyster Cult. The festival moves BOC to a tiny hall. Hundreds of ticket holders can't get in. No official apology, just more rumors that Ritchie wanted things his way or no way at all. The list of former friends is long. Joe Lynn Turner, one of his Rainbow Singers, calls him a nightmare genius. Blackmore's legendary mood, swings, tantrums, and walkouts keep everyone guessing. His unpredictability makes every gig a risk, but also a story fans tell for years. The music rips, but so does the drama. So what happens when a drummer takes that same stubborn streak and points it at the entire music industry? Coming up next, the guy who put his name on a lawsuit, then doubled down on every fight, no matter how many millions were at stake. Number 3, Lars Ulrich.
My father and obviously mother's household, there was a very rich tradition of a lot of...
In 2000, Lars Ulrich filed a lawsuit that shook up the music world. Metallica's drummer gets loud about Napster and music piracy, showing up in court and on TV. He brings a list of 335,435 people he wants banned from Napster. Fans lose their minds. Suddenly, Lars goes from rock hero to the most hated man on the internet. He's never shy. Lars tells reporters, "If you steal our music, you're not a fan." Metallica's message boards explode. Fans burn their CDs, send hate mail, and boo at shows. Even MTV roasts him. James Hetfield, Metallica's frontman, says, "We lost a lot of friends during that fight, but Lars won't back down. This is just the latest chapter in a career full of battles." In the studio, he clashes with bandmates over every drum sound. The 2003 Saint Anger album gets blasted for its trash can snare. Lars shrugs it off and calls the critics idiots. By now, the guy's a millionaire with nothing to prove, but he keeps fighting. He'll walk off stage mid-show if the sound's off, call out fans for holding up the wrong sign, and demand a say in everything from album art to ticket prices. Even other rock stars get tired of him. Dave Mustaine, former Metallica guitarist, says, "Lars is the most stubborn person I've met. But there's no Metallica without Lars. He's driven, loud, sometimes impossible, but he's still there, leading the charge." Through all the noise, Metallica sells over 125 million albums worldwide. Lawsuits, fights, memes, Lars becomes part of rock history. But what do you get when a frontman starts more fights than he finishes, jumps into crowds to punch fans, and leaves entire arenas waiting for hours? Let's go there. Number 2, Axl Rose.
In the 90s, like I said, I made that record. I was still f***ed up, and like you can hear it in my voice.
Axl Rose doesn't just headline concerts, he turns them into battlegrounds. Guns N' Roses hit the top in 1987 with Appetite for Destruction. The album sells more than 30 million copies worldwide. But as fast as the fame explodes, Axl's temper gets even bigger. He's famous for epic delays. In St. Louis, 1991, Guns N' Roses started their set late. Axl spots a fan filming the show, stops everything, jumps off stage, and starts a fight right in the crowd. The place erupts. Chairs fly, police rush in, dozens end up in the hospital. The band gets banned from St. Louis for life. That's Axl. He'll leave fans waiting for hours. In Montreal, 1992, he bailed after 9 songs. No warning, just storms off. Riots break out, windows get smashed, and the city's left cleaning up the mess. Even on good nights, nobody knows if he'll show up. Promoters lose money, and security teams brace for chaos. Axl goes after bandmates too. He feuds with Slash, fights with Duff McKagan, fires and rehires members on a whim. Reporters ask, why does anyone stay? Some say it's loyalty, others say fear. Axl once tells Rolling Stone, "I fight for what's mine. If you cross me, you're done." His voice is legendary, but so are the lawsuits. No other frontman keeps fans so hooked and so frustrated. Through it all, Guns N' Roses sell out stadiums. People come for the music, but stay for the drama. Even now, you never know if Axl will melt down or put on a killer show. So who tops a guy like this? The last spot goes to someone so grumpy, so cold, even other legends walk the other way. Want to know what happens when a rock icon makes ignoring fans an art form? Number 1, Van Morrison.
Well, there really isn't a thought process. It's more like...
Here's a number for you, 0. That's how many autographs Van Morrison will sign if you approach him backstage. The man has a reputation so cold that even other rock stars refuse to make eye contact. For decades, he's turned grumpiness into an art. Van Morrison exploded onto the scene in the late 60s with Brown-Eyed Girl and Moondance. The music is classic. The attitude is ice cold. Fans line up for a handshake, but Van ignores them all. Crew members tell stories about strict rules. Don't talk to him, don't look at him, don't even walk on his side of the hallway. More than one roadie gets fired for breaking these rules. He's famous for ending shows with no warning. In Dublin, 2010, Van walked off stage mid-song. Promoters scramble, fans stare at empty lights. No explanation. In interviews, he gives one-word answers. Journalists call him the most difficult man in music. Elton John once joked, "You're lucky if Van Morrison even says hello." It gets weirder. He bans bandmates from eating near him. He's known to fire musicians right before a gig. Stories float around about him telling opening acts, "Don't ever look at me." Even when sharing a bill with legends, Van demands his own space. Sometimes entire backstage areas cleared out. No small talk, no mercy. But people still buy tickets, hoping to catch a glimpse of genius. His records sell over 40 million copies worldwide. He wins Grammys, gets knighted, and keeps touring. Fans shrug off the cold shoulder for one more chance at hearing Into the Mystic live. What makes someone this untouchable, yet impossible to ignore? That's the story with Van Rock's original curmudgeon and the guy who makes other rock a-holes look like amateurs. Some stories stick long after the final chord. Hit play on the next video before this one disappears. Another wild rock tale is waiting for you, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.